Man, first thing I should say, I'm not a third generation Cuban born that I was picking leaves of tobacco at 7 years old. I'm not that guy. I'm Sicilian first and then Italian. And I started in the tobacco industry May 18th, 2001. Still remember that day. So I was already living in Dominican Republic because I moved there in August 2000. But before to go to Dominican Republic, I lived like 2 years in France, almost 2 years in Turkey. Then I moved there, and I was an Italian teacher, interpreter, and translator. So a day I got a phone call from someone looking for an interpreter for a conference, translating from French, English, Spanish to Italian. And I was like, okay, what's about the seminar or the conference? And this lady told me it's about tobacco and cigars. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Never smoked a cigar in my life before that, but I can do it. I'm an interpreter. So that was Davidoff calling me because they received the first group of Italian tobacconists visiting plantation, fermentation, the factory. So they needed a translator, an interpreter. So I stayed with them 1 week, and that completely changed my life. When I heard the first time Henke Kellner, who was a legend, a master blender of Davidoff and my mentor as well, I said, I want to be like this guy. So I looked for a job. So they kept me in Dominican Republic. Then I moved to the Davidoff shop in Geneva for 2.5 years, which is the shop where Zino Davidoff, the founder of the brand, worked his entire life. Then I moved back to Italy for 3.5 years, and there I was Davidoff brand manager. So I was taking care about all the brands of the Davidoff group. Then I left Davidoff and I moved to Miami, where I stayed there for 3 years, got married, and I worked. Excuse me. And I worked as a consultant in the industry, so taking care of small brands and a little bit of marketing, a little bit of blending, a little bit of developing, small brands. And one of my consultants was Mombacho. So I met the Mombacho boys late 2011, and then we started with 3 months of consultancy. And at the end, they called me saying, "Oh, sorry, consultancy is done, contract is over, but we would like to have you as a partner." So that was another big change in my life. And I jumped in the company late 2011. I moved to Nicaragua in 2012. And here we go, sitting with 220,000 babies sleeping minimum 6 months before I pack them. First of all, to develop all the skills about blending, production, and mastering the blends and all that stuff. That was very tough because, there's not a school for that. So it's all about experience. And thank God I've been in the best school ever, working with Davidoff for 9 years. And, Henke is my mentor. I call him Dad because he taught me everything about tobacco, blending, cigars, and everything. So he really changed my life. Another very challenging moment it was when I moved to Nicaragua, and we started reblending all the Mombacho cigars that we were making those days. It was really, going to Esteli, "Good morning, my name is Claudio, I need some Ligero." And one was like, who? What you want? So in the very beginning, it's been very challenging to establish a nice relationship with farmers and suppliers. Today, I'm very happy because we have a beautiful relationship with our farmers and suppliers. But it's been very, very challenging in the beginning. It took a very long time to get to the point that today we can use the best tobaccos available in Nicaragua. I've been so lucky that I went from production, from plantation, visiting plantation and fermentation and production, up to selling cigars and marketing about cigars. So if you want, I went through all the steps during my career at Davidoff, really having an experience from production, blending, up to marketing and sales. So I've been very, very lucky to work for Davidoff for 9 years. Oh man, a lot of stuff cooking slowly in a big pot. So we are going to launch finally, after more than 5 years in the work, a crazy project. And when I'm saying crazy, maybe it's the craziest so far we did a Mombacho. And I'm pretty sure it will change the industry. And I tell you what, today we talk a lot and we use maybe too much vintage, edición limitada, reserve, and all that stuff. I want to bring into the cigar industry the true meaning of the word of vintage. Vintage is coming from wine. And in wine labels, they used to put the year of the vintage. So a wine is made with grapes only from that vintage, from that year. So we are going to launch our Cosecha 2012 at the APCPR, which is a cigar that is made 100% with tobaccos from Nicaragua, different regions and different seeds, but all tobaccos harvested 2012. So it's maybe the first time or the second time, or maybe, I don't know, that finally it's a true vintage. And more than that, we made those cigars in 2013. So very young tobacco. And I said we need a very long period of aging. So they are still sitting here since, I think in November 2013. And it's not only this, because if I want to change the industry, it gotta be a change. Not only one shot, one Cosecha 2012, it's okay, it's good. No, we did Harvest 2013, Harvest 2014. We have in production right now the Harvest 2015. So every year we are going to have a vintage, which is made 100% tobaccos from Nicaragua, from different regions, because, I got to blend. And the problem is not only the blend, but I have to show the best of the vintage. Not just making a blend, throwing a small quantity of cigars, because I cannot make a lot of them. For example, Harvest 2012, the Cosecha 2012, we made almost 5,000 cigars, no more than that. So every year, expect a vintage, which is a certified, true vintage, that it's really the meaning of the true word of vintage.
Wow. So when I smoke this cigar, I'm going to take the band off, and the band's going to say 2012 in true Mombacho style. Or 2013.
2013, because it's the date when they are rolled. But all tobaccos are from 2012. So yes, so you will see that date. And it's a crazy project. Then it's make those blends every year. It's very difficult. The year after year, the crop is not the same. And I gotta really pick the soul of that vintage around in Nicaragua. And then they stay here for at least 4 years, aging. So you're going to smoke a true vintage in all meanings of the word vintage, because of the vintage of tobaccos, and because it's old. Because man, who is aging cigars for 4 years before to release them? My partners were like, "No, you're crazy. You cannot do that." Like,
dude,
yes, let's do it.
That's an awesome concept.
I like to always remember about the pairing in two words: similarity or contrast. So if you are smoking something spicy and you drink something spicy, you go for similarity. Then if you smoke something spicy and you drink something sweet, you go by contrast in the pairing. So that's the first thing that I always like to remember to everybody, which is very easy and interesting as well. And there is a lot of personal taste on that in the pairings. I would say very good with rum. All our cigars, they are coming from the same soil, sun, weather. So rum is good. Coffee is very good with our cigars, because if you drink a good coffee without sugar, you have some sweetness in our cigars. So you go really balancing bittersweet. It's very, very interesting. I would say single malt. Go for Liga Maestro, which is a little bit spicier, a little bit medium plus. Because if you go for Tierra Volcan, it's a true medium. Go for something a little bit softer, not so strong like a single malt. But I would say that our cigars, they perform very good with a lot of different things. Champagne, one of my favorite pairings. Then smoke a Liga Maestro Hermoso with a good glass of champagne. Oh boy, that is awesome. A very well-established brand in more many countries that we have right now. Right now, we sell our cigars in 9 countries, and we have projects to expand in more countries. And finally, having the recognition of a solid, consistent, good cigar that is good always. For a small company or young companies, it's very difficult to have a space in the different markets. And if we talk about the United States, which is a huge monster market, but it's one of the tougher as well. So I'm sure people will recognize the hard work we do every day behind our cigars, and the quality, and our style, and our cigars. Yes, a lot more recognition, and expanding more countries, and yeah, that's the plan. One thing, we give food for free every day to all our family working at the factory.
Wow.
I love to say that because nobody does that.
Yeah.
And I have a quote about that. Happy people make happy cigars. So we take care first of our family down here in Nicaragua, so you can smoke happy cigars. Course, my first cigar. That was first night of my translation. I was at dinner with Enki Kellner, sitting behind him because I was translating everything he was saying. And I picked a cigar and I started, okay, Enki, should I smoke a chocolate? Should I smell a chocolate or coffee or this and that? You know, you heard things about cigars. And so I throw those things. He looked at me and he said, you know what? Shut up, just smoke. The cigar will tell you. That has been one of my first memory about cigars. And another one very, very nice was the first time I came down at the factory with the Mombacho boys when we got together and we started together. I break down the blend that they were making before I jumped in the company. And that was a memorable moment, an historical moment, I would say. Because we really opened the cigars and then we made the little perritos. You know, perritos are cigars made just one kind of leaf. Mm-hmm. So I broke down the blend and we smoked it one by one. And that was really memorable for everyone. Yeah. Because then we changed the blend and we started using 100% tobacco for Nicaragua. Before, it wasn't a puro. Since 2012, yes, all our cigars are puro. Okay, I want to make a big difference between a blender and a master blender. Maybe you are a blender, because if you get down to a factory, you smoke different samples that we put together for you. Then you can say not too strong or too spicy and this and that. So you're a blender. I can tell you there is some monster blender outside there. Okay, they are very, very good palettes. But then you have the master blender. Who's the master blender? The master blender is the one making sure that you can blend if you want to blend, because we take care of purchases, quality of the crops, then the processes of cigars before to make the cigars. All the processes of, for example, classification or getting dry the leaves for the filler or the wrappers, getting them elastic at the right temperature and humidity. So we design from a blend, translating in production with all the quality control processes. So that's a master blender. Then a blender, it's easy. Of course, the problem is when you are a blender, there is a lot of your style or your personal taste. A master blender try to stay outside of the personal comfort zone or personal taste, I should say, because I can make cigars that I love only by myself, and I cannot smoke 200,000 cigars in a year, right? That's a little bit too much. So I gotta make cigars that technically they are good. That's another point. It's dividing in a side a personal taste and then a technical taste that you should have. And how you learn that? Experience. Memorable. Because we try to give not only a cigar, but a 100% Nicaraguan experience. Of course, it's difficult because when you are here in Nicaragua, the factory smoke a cigar, it tastes different, okay? But what we want to do is giving you the Mombacho experience, okay? Remember, when you smoke a cigar, and after 2 hours you say, "Oh, that cigar was good," it wasn't good because you don't even remember the name. When after 2 hours you said, "Oh, that Mombacho was good," that's what I want to have from people.